Continue texting us your views because there are so many views on the table. Text us on 2242, Twitter's at Citizen TV Kenya, Zinzi_K, and Mheshimiwa Nyoro, yes. You are concluding and you have 30 seconds to conclude so that you can listen to Senator Kajwang.
I was concluding on the grey areas that we have even in terms of the devolved functions. For example, I give the example of health where we tell Kenyans know it's devolved, but of course we gobble up a lot of resources in the national government side. Also in terms of agriculture and water. But also, I get very confused when I see my colleagues in the Senate actually summoning CSs like a CS for defense. And I wonder what the CS for defense has to do with counties.
Right.
I think you have enough work to do in terms of oversight in counties, Honorable Kajwang. And if you concentrate there, I think this debate about the monies that are getting lost in counties will actually be sealed.
All right, Senator Kajwang, so many words said about the House, about the Senate Assembly. Of course, him saying that it's supposed to be of people of a senior age. But really, what is the real issue that now is taking you to the court? Bearing in mind that Article 110 sub-Article 3 provides that speakers of the National Assembly and the Senate shall gently resolve any question as to whether it is a bill concerning counties or not, so that you don't have the confusion that you have now.
I'll finish with Article 110 sub 3. But Sam, I told you, you can't select the verses in the Bible that you want to read. Because if you did, there's one that says alcohol is good for your stomach. There's another one that says, why should you work when God feeds even the birds in the air? And that's exactly what you're trying to do by reading Article 95 and 96 without reading Article 94. Article 94 talks about the role of Parliament. That is a joint role of both the National Assembly and the Senate. That is Article 94,
the role of the Senate.
No, 94,
96 is the
role of Parliament. The role of Parliament. You cannot proceed
I want you to read 94 with 93.
Mheshimiwa Kimani, allow him to finish.
You had your time.
Yeah.
So if you're going to cherry pick the sections of the Bible, the sections of the Constitution, you will be able to achieve whatever end that you wish to. And this is an argument that was reinforced by the Supreme Court. When the Senate went to court to seek an interpretation on the involvement of Senate on the division of revenue, the Supreme Court in the advisory said that Parliament has certain roles that are shared between both houses, and those cannot be separated. Number two, there is a definition of matters affecting counties, and it refers to the 4th schedule of the Constitution. Now, for the information of Ichungwa Ndindi, agriculture is devolved. Roads is partially devolved. Health is fully devolved, with the exception of policy. Sports and youth matters are supposed to be dealt with at the counties. Environment, even issues of finance, where the Treasury is involved, if we have to query issues to do with disbursements, we have a right to call the CS for Treasury. What wrong does Senate commit when it calls the CS for Agriculture? To find out what interventions the state is making from a policy perspective on cotton farmers or fishermen from Lake Victoria. What would be wrong to call the CS for roads, to find out what is the progress on classification of roads, because that is what is stalling the issue of full transfer of roads function to counties. So for Duale to stand on the floor of the House, he does not appoint the cabinet, he does not supervise the cabinet, and threaten the cabinet not to appear before the Senate is completely out of order and should be treated with the contempt that it deserves. Now, let me tell you before you go on, so that you don't lose this point. So, obviously, of course, you can justify the reason why you can invite CSS to respond to matters that are affecting, for instance, roads in the counties. But are these matters that are particularly not being questioned by the National Assembly? Because there's the question of duplication of roles, Roraka land being investigated by the Senate and at the same time by the National Assembly. Let me tell you the nexus. Let me tell you the nexus of Roraka. Let me tell you the nexus of Roraka. The school in question was owned by the defunct Nairobi County Council. And there's a process of transfer of assets from the defunct authorities to county governments or national governments. And Dindi, you might laugh because you're not in the last parliament when you're talking about the transfer of assets. Right now, my committee is talking to the Intergovernmental Relations Technical Committee to ensure that all the assets of Kanjo have either been transferred to the national government or to the county government.
What about KQ?
Now, stop cherry picking. You know, when you cherry pick, you'll get a verse that justifies theft and justifies prostitution.
Respond.
Why are we going to court? Because the president and egged on by Duale and Ichung'wah and their friends, has been signing into law bills that touch on functions of counties without subjecting it to the Senate. And let me give you an example. What the executive is doing through the National Assembly is to come up with omnibus bills, or what they call miscellaneous bills. What a miscellaneous bill will do, it will amend close to 10 or 15 various acts of parliament. And in the past, we have had an omnibus bill that has amended certain sections of the Health Act. Health is devolved. And if you're going to amend the Health Act, then it needs to go through the Senate. And that is why we have gone to court to seek a determination. There are things that are clearly the preserve of the National Assembly, and we don't dispute it. For example, money bills. And if money bills have originated from the Senate, then the Supreme Court will tell us the legality or the propriety of that. But on matters that have been clearly defined in the Constitution, matters affecting counties,
first of all,
matters touching on the functions of counties, some we are not going to negotiate because it is in the Constitution that the Senate must be involved. Finally, Article 110(3), when the Speaker of Senate was elected, we were told that finally we have got a speaker who will sit with the Speaker of the National Assembly and talk in the spirit of Article 110(3). What has changed? Tanga politics has also entered into Parliament. Because you find...
Wait a minute. The Speaker of the National Assembly has been there for, this is probably his 7th or 8th year.
Yes.
And the Speaker of the Senate now in his 2nd year. So where does Tanga come in?
We were told that the problem was Ekwe Thuro. That Ekwe Thuro did not have the patience as a speaker.
Introducing it
Allow me to finish.
Just hold on.
Yours was more pedantic. Allow me to finish. The problem was Ekwe Thuro in the last parliament, and I served in that parliament. That instead of Ekwe Thuro going to confer with the Speaker of the National Assembly, he chose to go to the Supreme Court. And even though Ekwe Thuro sought to be Speaker for another term, Jubilee...
And Speaker Lusaka? What is the problem?
No, Speaker Lusaka has visited the Speaker of the National Assembly more than 7 times. And I believe that they are building the right kind of chemistry, the right kind of rapport that can help us in realization of Article 110(3). But obviously,
when the Constitution says that a money bill can only originate from the National Assembly, what do you think should happen when a money bill originates from the Senate? Should it die?
If a money bill originates from the Senate, he is the chair of the Budget and Appropriations Committee. He can go through certain process. And that is not our contention. Our major contention is on bills that affect counties as defined in the 4th schedule of the Constitution.
And that's where my next question lies to you, Honorable Kimani. Just to pick it up from what Senator has said, when you create bills that also affect counties, doesn't that not give them the mandate, according to what we just talked about, Article 96, to have them also put their say into it, because they restrict themselves to matters counties? And here you are creating a bill that affects counties.
I think just to answer you, let me just take you back to what Senator Kajwang had said in terms of defining the role of Parliament. And he told us not to cherry pick and read the Constitution in totality. And he also cherry picked. He wanted us to read from 94, not from 93, because the chapter on the legislature starts from 93. And 93 tells you that there is established a Parliament of Kenya, which shall consist of National Assembly and Senate. 2, it says the National Assembly and Senate shall perform their respective functions in accordance with this Constitution. Therefore, if we both performed our mandates in accordance with the Constitution, there will be no need to fight.
Including investigating the same matter at both levels.
We have legislated on matters touching on health and agriculture, even using the omnibus bills that he's talking about. But look at the content of what has been legislated, Senator Kajwang. It is principally on policy matters. Not on the running of the healthcare sector. If we were to do that, then it would have to go to Senate. But the contention they had, for instance, with the health laws, it had everything to do with policy issues. 2, Article 109 on money bills. Senator Kajwang admits here that, in fact, beyond what is defined in the Constitution as their mandate, Article 109 is explicit that a money bill can only originate from the National
So that's why
Assembly.
I asked, if it comes from the
they
Senate,
have
what should
more
happen?
than 14 bills, money bills. They have disrespected and disregarded even other statutory bodies like the Parliamentary Budget Office that is created pursuant to the Public Finance Management Act that advises the Houses of Parliament. And they advised this is a money bill, it cannot originate from the Senate.
So
but
Honorable Kimani,
they tossed that
please,
out of the window.
Help us with this question.
Yeah.
If a senator or a Senate committee has a bill that is obviously money bill because it talks about the seats and expenditure, what should happen?
Simple sum. You are advised by the Budget Office, the Parliamentary Budget Office, which is a statutory office created by an Act of Parliament. You are advised that this is a money bill, it can only originate from the National Assembly.
And then after that?
If you respected that as a senator, then all you need to do, since you have a member of Parliament that represents you first as a citizen, is to talk to your member of Parliament, like you could talk to the member for Homa Bay Town, as he said, he represents not just you, but also your parents and your grandparents in the village. Let him originate that bill.
All right, Honorable Kimani, you speak of the village, but he comes from Homa Bay Town.
Right.
Of course, there are villages in Homa Bay Town.